Hi, it's Rebecca, Empathic Crow. So I've been doing some thinking recently about how I have been through so many things that others don't even know about. Just putting some Florida water on my chakra points. If you know much about Florida water, not only does it smell absolutely wonderful, but it also has some nice cleansing properties too. You can get it at Walmart, pretty much anywhere. But anyway, yeah, just doing some introspection. Because I've healed through so many of the things that I've experienced, I don't always think of them because in my life I've either just pushed through them and left them in the background, or I, like I said, have healed through them, understand the emotions, and choose to focus on what I'm doing now. Because of that, a lot of people look at me and my life and they felt like, these are the things I've heard about myself. I'm not just making this up. People have always said to me that I'm just so calm, that I have this energy that I make them feel calm themselves, that I'm this person that, like, even random people in the grocery store or when I was flying to London for university would say to me that they just felt so comfortable talking to me. They would come up and tell me their life story, not even knowing that part of my job for most of my life has been to listen to other people and help them with their life, with their traumas, with healing things, with managing symptoms, all of that. I tell people when you're a very kind, compassionate, caring person, it's like this invisible beacon of light that draws others to you. There's something about people sometimes that lets people know that they're a safe space. I've smiled through so many things that were not comfortable, that were not good situations. I tried to minimize other people knowing how difficult things were. I tried to focus on the things that I'm grateful for, and those are things that I did. It's not that I worked hard to do that. That's just how it was. I often would advocate for others much more easily than I would advocate for myself. Being able to set healthy boundaries with others or to say no with minimal guilt is not something that came along until mid to late 30s or later. I'm 45 now. And I still feel guilty sometimes when I say no to other people, but that's one of the blessings of getting older, of having had this burnout that I did, that I think was a protective space for me. A space that really promoted a lot of healing, a lot of introspection that I didn't allow myself the time to do before. I always helped other people and just pushed through any emotions I had. Not having the energy to just do things, even if I didn't want to do them, so that other people could be comfortable, ended up becoming a blessing. And also the last, since at least 2022, but I'd say it started before then, stepping out and doing things that I want to do and coming out about my truth that other people may think is crazy, and that's fine. That has been a healing thing too. Recently, a family member told me that other family members have talked to them about concerns about me. That's fine. I don't mind. That's one of the reasons I used to speak very little. I, just like everyone else, had this fear of judgment. I didn't want for other people to see my vulnerabilities. I didn't want for other people to know that the things that I believe, the things I know, the things I sense, that I see, are not always accepted by them. There was a lot of fear that came with that 444 on the clock, and I let go of that fear. In 2022, I mention it because that's when I first started my coaching business, spiritual coaching with empaths and highly sensitive people. I still tried to stay in this box, keeping it close to counseling so that it was something that was more palatable to other people, that they could understand better than just saying, hey, I do tarot and mediumship and I connect with energy on all these different levels, because I knew a lot of people couldn't handle that. When I posted about my business, I knew that there would be very few people in my friends or family list who would even interact with the post. And it didn't hurt my feelings. One, I already knew it. And two, it's not about them. I am so happy and so proud of me for being able to do what I want to do, despite the judgment, despite the concern. Kind of makes me laugh because people fear what they don't understand, whatever it is, from other people, even family. Here's the thing. I went ahead and I wrote down, and I'm just going to show this very quickly because it's my stuff and my story to keep for myself. But I wrote down some of the things that I've experienced in my life, and that's just some of them that I could come up with off the top of my head. They're not things that I think about all the time. I am human, so yes, they do occasionally come back to me, and it's like I tell clients, grief is never ending. It's like a spiral. In the beginning, some things are going to trigger harder and more intensely and more often, and over time it gets a little bit easier. Same thing with trauma. But it's not something that typically I think about that much. And I want that for other people too. I want for people to be able to acknowledge and understand and recognize the things that they've been through, but not to feel like it defines them, that it makes them any less, or that it's something they have to hold on to and feel bad or guilty about throughout their lives. And that if they have a different viewpoint from other people, people may be upset, they may judge them, they may even get angry, because when you challenge people and their beliefs, even if you don't say anything, just your existence can challenge them. They're going to get mad and they're going to judge you, and that's okay. And I think that's one of the gifts of some of the things that I've been through, is that it was difficult. It was never easy. But I discovered myself. And there were a lot of times where it was very lonely. But in that loneliness, in that sometimes dark space, I learned how to focus on the light. I learned to be myself, to embrace myself. And I was able to sit back and observe more how other people, and I'm not trying to big myself up and say I'm better than others. I am not at all. But just being able to take a step back and observe the insecurities and vulnerabilities that everyone has, and how some people choose to use those vulnerabilities and insecurities to put other people down, to talk behind their backs, to verbally attack them, to post attacks on social media about them, create these smear campaigns, like all this childish stuff. And recognizing that I don't have to push myself aside and engage with people that I don't feel safe to be myself around. And so if my energy, I pull it back from people and I'm not engaging in as much, it's not that I'm struggling with myself. It's not that I'm in a space where I need any assistance. I'm doing good. I'm doing really well. And I have my own supports and things in place that are therapeutic and helpful to me. And I think that's hard for people sometimes, is that when somebody finally embraces themselves and they no longer worry as much about what they say, and they're not hiding things because you shouldn't say that, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't wear this, you shouldn't act that way, you shouldn't have all these tattoos, you shouldn't. Stop it with the shouldn'ts. Stop it with the shoulds, the shouldn'ts, all that language. Just stop it. If people would just be themselves, that would be amazing. I don't want you hurting yourself or anyone else or doing anything criminal, but I am talking about just authentically being you. You want that tattoo? If you feel like it's a good idea, you don't mind that being on your body the rest of your life, go get the tattoo. If you want that piercing, get the piercing. You want to dye your hair, dye your hair. If you want to buy something for your home as decor, but other people may think that it's weird, oh well, it's not their home. If you want to go for a job that other people are like, oh, I don't know about that. Like, I had a client one time who wanted to do mortuary services because they wanted to be able to help families by making their loved one look as much like they did when they were alive as possible, and just for them to present in this way that instead of looking lifeless, they looked beautiful, that they wanted to use their artistry and creativity to be able to help families. But when they talked to me about wanting to do this, sorry, it feels like there's a hair on my face, they said, I know this is weird. And I'm like, no, I think that sounds absolutely amazing. That somebody could want to do something because they wanted to help others in a time that was the most difficult. And that's one of the reasons that I've worked in the field that I've worked in for so long. Because one of my goals has been able to help people through their darkness, through their shadows, through their trauma, so that they can see the light. Even working with the paranormal team, 11/20, which is my birthday, even working with the paranormal team, when it comes to spirits, if it's not in a place that's like a tourism place where you're discouraged from crossing over spirits unless you clear it with the people that own the place or whatever, if there are spirits that because of fear or whatever it is, whatever emotions that were going on in their life when they passed that hold them back from crossing over because they don't understand that they can or they're afraid to, I am honored to be able to help assist them to do that. When it comes to communicating messages from spirit to families, I am honored to be able to do that and to see the healing that even just a few words from someone's family member can help bring. I don't know why and how and what of all of this, but what I do know is that we all have a connection with our intuition, and we all have the ability to notice those symbols and signs from our loved ones. And I know that people fear what they don't understand, and I also know that people learn from a very young age to suppress that intuition because it scares others. So I'm good. There's nothing wrong with me. It's just when you sit back and you observe, there are a lot of things that you see that you may have even felt inside you for so long that aren't right. But it gets to that point where you can't keep your mouth shut, because if you keep your mouth shut, then others may also do that, and it's harmful for them to keep their mouth shut, to not be able to speak their truth. Not to mention that if we could all just release some of our judgment and allow ourselves to live authentically and not worry about what time of year you wear something white, what is it, white pants or white shoes or both. When I was younger, having to wear pantyhose or tights if you wore a dress, no. Or even where I've worked in a supermarket when I was in high school through college, and you could only have one ring, which right now I do only have one ring on each hand. You could only have one piercing in your lobes. Couldn't have any other piercings. You know, I've worked in the hospital even when you could only have natural colored hair. What did those things matter? They didn't. As long as you are doing the job that you were hired for, doing it with integrity, with honesty, with ethics, all of those things, and being helpful or whatever it is that's required of you, that's the main thing. There are going to be a lot of people who, if they're afraid of me or afraid for me, are going to struggle, because there are more people like me who are coming out and saying things than not. People are starting to let go of the fear of speaking their truth. I have been told many times in my life, especially by the few guys that I've dated, except for my husband. He never said this, but even my ex-husband called me intimidating. Even though I was someone that throughout my life until more recently did what other people wanted to do, unless it was something harmful. But like if it was dinner, like where do you want to go for dinner? Oh, I don't mind wherever you want to go. Or going out somewhere that I didn't want to go. I would do what the other person wanted to do. I listened to the other people, didn't necessarily say what was going on for me. If it was not something that I couldn't agree with, that I felt was wrong, I would go ahead and just let the other person decide. I always tried to be conscientious of other people, their feelings, emotions, anticipating their needs, all of those things. And yet, especially in romantic relationships, which I didn't have many of, I just didn't. I had a lot of sensitivity to rejection and insecurity and things like that when I was younger. I don't so much anymore. I mean, it creeps in sometimes, but then I just push it out of the way because if people are going to judge me, I don't necessarily need them in my life, to be honest. But anyway, they called me intimidating, and I realized it's because they couldn't sway me to go with their beliefs. They couldn't read my mind because I would keep my thoughts to myself, and I was really good. I had taught myself really well to mask my facial expressions, but I could read them very well. And they would say lies to me, and I would see right through them, and I would give them the opportunity to tell me the truth, and they wouldn't. And I would always know. So I know that that's why I was intimidating. I'm very good at reading people. I may not let them know that I know what's hidden between their words. I don't always let them know that I know that they're trying to take advantage of me or using me. Maybe I'm a little bit more 17 on the clock. Maybe I'm a little more likely to say something now. But most of the time I'm just like, you want to lie to me? You want to judge me? You want to whatever? I'm going to smile. I'm going to interact with you when I'm around you. But I'm not going to necessarily call you out. I'm not going to put a lot of thought into it. I'm just going to walk away or spend less time with you. We call it in therapy loving from a distance. You can love people because whatever they are to you, family, friends, people you've known for a long time, whatever, but you can create that distance and you can set those boundaries. Like I said, I'm not any better than anyone else. I am just at a place where I no longer feel the need to apologize for everything, where I no longer feel the need to worry that people are going to think I'm crazy, because people are going to think whatever they think regardless. So the reason for this video is just to encourage people, be yourself, live your life, live authentically. And if there are people who don't understand you, or there are people who want to try to hurt you, let them do what they're doing. You can try to encourage them not to, but they have to be in a space where they see the benefit of just focusing on themselves. Focusing on yourself is hard sometimes, especially when people have a lot of things that they don't want to think about. But you don't have to give your energy to that. Sometimes the best thing you can do for yourself is to not even acknowledge it. You focus on you. Whatever they do, that's on them. And if they try to do something to hurt you, slander you, whatever, that's their karma. What is it? I don't know who said it. But whatever it was, when they go low, we go high, rise above it. It's not even worth your attention. I hope this is helpful. But when it comes to those of us who are coming out about our spiritual beliefs that may be different from others, our spiritual gifts, our knowledge and things. Just understand, we may not always tell you all the things we've been through, even as a therapist. You may understand people on a different level than what they may even know, because you're not necessarily telling them everything that you've been through, but you know what the hurt feels like, you know what the pain feels like. And then add on the high empathy to that. And when people are talking to me, I'm a very visual person, and I can literally see and feel what they're talking about, even if I've never experienced it. So I have my own pain. I understand others' pain. But one of the best things is knowing that I don't have to carry it. And that if people want to judge me for whatever it is that they feel, they can just judge me. And I'll be okay. You'll be okay. Already at 20 minutes and 50 seconds, but I do have a few new decks, and one of them is the Inner Child Oracle that I've wanted for so long. This is by Amanda Lynn Aisling. I'm going to go ahead and pull a card, because this is what we're talking about, basically. That inner child healing. All of us have things that we've experienced, whether in childhood or adulthood, that has been difficult and that we have to heal from. And you can either run from it and possibly hurt yourself or others, not even talking in a negative way. I mean, it could be negative, but not even in a, like, you're literally harming yourself, but even emotionally. By pushing people away or having negative self-thoughts about judgment and things like that of you or by others. You can do all those things. But for me, I hope you heal, and I hope you let those things go. And I hope that you can glow and blossom and just be you. So let's pull a card from this Inner Child Oracle. What would be helpful for someone watching this video to focus on? So here's what would be helpful. Do what you need to do. This card is number 11. 11 is a master number. It may be difficult, but now is the time. It's like I said, you got to focus on you. What do you need right now? Do you need to go into therapy? Do you need to take some time to yourself? Do you need to change your job? Do you need to get more rest? Whatever it is that you need, do it. And if there are things that aren't necessary requirements, but you usually do them, and you don't have to, then think about how to reprioritize things. And part of those priorities need to be you. The next card is 35, which breaks down to an 8. 8 being the infinity, 8 being a lucky number in some cultures. There is hope ahead. Have courage and take heart, for there is hope. There's always hope. Things are not always easy. We go through some really crazy crap sometimes. But the only person that can decide how you handle and deal with that is you. And part of that is going to be having hope that things can change, having gratitude for the things that you do have, and focusing on what you can do, what you need to do in order to change that for you. 23:33 on the clock. We are going to go ahead and close out for now. But I wish you all peace. I wish you authenticity. And I ask you, focus on standing up and doing what is right for you, regardless of what anyone else thinks. And if you're someone who goes around judging others, maybe because that's what you've learned or that makes you feel better about yourself, you need to take some time, sit, and think about who you really want to be and how you really want to portray yourself. Let go of those scripts that you have grown up with or developed that make you think it's okay to judge other people, even if they're not doing anything that's hurting you or bothering you in any way. Love and light.